So I'm here today with Adi Gray, a colleague I've been working with for over 10 years. We're in Ripon at the Karate Dojo in North Yorkshire. Tell us a little bit about your dojo first of all.
About the dojo, we've been here for, how long have we been here for? 30 years next year. But we've been in this dojo for 8 years, but we've just expanded it over the last year or so.
So we've been trained with Aidan Trimble Sensei today. We had a 3-hour seminar. Tell me what you thought about that.
Yeah, Aidan's amazing anyway. So we know how good he is. We train quite regularly with him anyway. But it's great to have him up to the dojo and let a lot of people experience sort of the modern day sort of master that he is. And when you train with him, you actually realise how good he is.
Yeah, it's quite reassuring to sort of do karate or to back up the karate we're doing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we've always got to be learning, aren't we? We're always learning.
Yeah.
So we're always challenging ourselves about how to move better, how technically to make it more effective. That when you have the input of somebody like, say, Aidan Trimble, it's sort of like gives you ideas to be able to move on and develop the ideas that he's given you already.
I think one of the most interesting things today was how when someone asks which way should we do something, and it's kind of not an answer.
Yeah.
You know, I get a lot of comments on these videos sometimes, people saying, "Oh, you're doing this wrong and this wrong."
Yeah.
And then you got a sensei like Aidan Trimble, and it says it doesn't matter which way.
Yeah.
You know, if it works for your body,
yeah,
then it's working, right?
But it's true, isn't it? Because we're all different people. I mean, you know, we're not a clone. We're not a clone, you know, generation of people who look the same, move the same, talk the same, have the same personalities. So in that side of things, why would you do your karate in the same way?
So I was speaking to one of the students on the course today, and he's actually from Goju-Ryu. And he was saying about how some of the movements in the applications of the kata we were doing from the Shotokan Ninja show were very similar to one of his from Seipai.
Yeah.
And when you sort of look at the karate and understand what you're actually doing in terms of application, everything is the same, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. We have different styles. We have different sort of templates of movement, but the actual ultimate aim is that we've only got the same body. No matter what style you do, we've all got the same bodies. So there's only a certain amount of things our body's going to do with it. So styles come across, and people are very, very sort of like stereotyped into their style. But how much do you learn from other styles?
It's this thing in it where everyone's kind of trying to argue about whose style is best, but the similarities are much more frequent than the differences, aren't they?
Yeah. If you train it and you try it, and don't do it in a stereotype competition way of Shotokan or a stereotype competition way of Shitoru. If you were actually to do it in a dojo, they are very similar. And we can learn from all the styles, can't we? How many styles do we in Shotokan are we too strong with?
Yeah.
And too powerful. We would generate more power by relaxing, like a Shitoru or a Goju movement in that sort of way to enhance our movement.
And then sort of, as we were speaking about earlier, about the things not being necessarily right or wrong, even within Shotokan, we've got styles, isn't it? You know, so our Shotokan that we do is probably very different from some of the people that are also doing Shotokan, you know, like JKA, JKS or something else. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That is the art in martial arts, right?
That's a variety that we have, yeah. You know, and again, it goes back to what you were saying about people saying what's wrong and right. I mean, like who is to say what is wrong, what is right? You know, if I go and model myself on a position that I see in a picture and I won't give in until my body looks like that picture, is that the right thing for my body?
And this is when you get a lot of injuries and stuff in it long term, because people are trying to fit into certain shapes that don't fit them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the Japanese have different structures of their bodies compared to Westerners, you know. And when we're trying to fit into those shapes that are not good for our joints, that's why you get a lot of people with knee replacements and hip replacements in karate. Yeah,
and then you lose, you know, longevity. You should train for longevity, shouldn't you? But that is moving correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
There's
another one there with that movement as well, is, you know, since Aidan said it today, didn't he, about the foot position, you know, the feet position in sort of different people, different ages or whatever, you know, whatever sports they've done might have like molded their body in a certain way. And it's not about the position being perfectly in that position of the foot, but the feet have got to be in the correct position to allow the body to be in the correct position, for the hip distribution to be correct. You know, it's not just get your foot on that line and get your foot on that line, otherwise it's wrong.
I think that comes from teaching masses of people, isn't it? You know, when you're teaching a large group of people, it's easier to say that foot has to be here and that foot has to be here, because then everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, everyone should have their own way of doing it, shouldn't they? As he said earlier, you know, certain people with ankle injuries and stuff can't get their feet in that position. So why should they have to force it?
But that doesn't make them wrong.
No.
Because it doesn't look like somebody who has got hyper flexible ankles.
I mean, I think our kind of direction of Shotokan, at least, is function, isn't it, over kind of aesthetics.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and that's why. But then we would substitute, or not substitute, but we would bring in the yoga. We would bring in other understanding of movement or other styles, other martial arts that you'd actually understand and look at them and go, well, they move so much better in that instance, or boxing or whatever. It doesn't have to be anything in particular, does it? But you're always learning from movement, from dancers. You know, why can't you learn from how a dancer moves efficiently and effectively?
This is something also I get a little bit on this channel, really. You mentioned yoga, and you have yoga sessions here in the dojo or in the center as well, right? And a lot of my kind of angle with karate is that I enjoy bodybuilding with it, right, or weight training. And people tend to think that I am saying that you must do weight training, but actually what I'm saying is you need to condition your body and strengthen your body, and whatever the vehicle to get there is down to you. You know, for me, I like to do weight training. I also do some sort of mobility stuff I've learned in yoga sessions myself, actually. But it doesn't matter if you're doing calisthenics or yoga or Pilates or weight training, something to strengthen your body is going to improve your performance, isn't it?
Yeah. But that goes through the breathing. You know, even you look at how to breathe, and if you breathe better, how many people do we teach that? And we have to be reminded to ourselves, obviously, because we're all training the same, but our breathing is working against us, not with us. But if you're working with your body in yoga to breathe, or another bodybuilding or weightlifting, you have to learn to breathe correctly, and you have to implement that into your karate.
It's just about being aware of your body as well, isn't it? You know, whether it's like for me in the gym or in yoga or whatever, being conscious of your position of your body and the alignment and the structure and stuff is massively beneficial for martial arts.
But we know our bodies better than anybody else.
For sure, yeah.
So if somebody telling you to do this or do that shouldn't always be taken as the right way, should it?
Yeah, it's true. The wall have to another thing that I sort of see online mainly is when people are sort of judging other people that they see in karate, you know, and they're saying, oh, this person shouldn't be a black belt because they can't kick this high, and they're judging them aesthetically from outside without understanding them. And we've spoke about this a lot, haven't we, about how, and we mentioned it even earlier, that karate should fit you and it should be for yourself, isn't it? And your own path and your own journey is yours, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's not to be judged by outside people.
Yeah.
And another video I've done recently talking about this kind of stuff was that people are judging it based on their own dojo's requirements. You know, different dojos will have different things that they consider to be correct or what they're after for a certain grade. You know, it doesn't matter, does it? No. You know, as long as you're improving within your dojo under the rules that your dojo is setting, then
maybe as long as you're doing it healthily, safely, and effectively. You know, at the same time, you know, you're aware of people's, you know, this 2024, and it's a mental awareness of people's, you know, what they're going through, like you said, in their journey and stuff. It does have an impact on physically, you know, how you're thinking and how your mindset is does have effect on how you physically move. You know, so again, if you just judge anybody by a physical movement or a physical position or a picture, you know, but how did they get there? And again, it goes back to the same thing as when people judge it by a picture. You know, it's very easy to judge a picture in the finished position. But the middle position that we were talking about today in the course, the middle position is the important part, and that bit hasn't been snapped, or that bit hasn't been videoed, or it hasn't had the picture image, you know, showing the transition and the movement and the application. It's only showed the beginning and the end. So somebody may not have a great ending, or it may not, you know, what people say, oh, that foot should be there, that foot should be this position or whatever. But what about the middle bit was amazing? Then their karate is probably better than the person who had a lovely finish and looked like a model finish.
Yeah, this is a thing as well when people are talking about application of techniques, and where I think, I mean, anyone can do whatever they like to do, right? And they can apply techniques how they like. But for me and for us, as we say, the middle section is the application. And people end up judging Agyuki, for example, a rising block, and saying, "Oh, your body's open." Yeah. But this is not the block. It's not how it works. You know, it's as you say, it's getting there in the middle. All the action happens here in the middle, and the end position is irrelevant if it's open because you're not in that position. You're not fighting someone from that position.
And should it have worked? It would have worked before then.
Yeah,
before that finished position.
It's already happened, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and you get a lot of people sort of saying, oh, you know, that block doesn't work, that block don't work, because of you're opening yourself up, but they're missing the important part, which is the in the middle, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. It's the application. That's the bit that works, isn't it?
So I know you have a lot of events at the dojo here. I'm going to be up here teaching with you on December the 1st of 2024. And I believe we have quite a lot of other things going on. So if you could tell us about.
Yeah, well, we've just had Sensei Aiden Pinball. You know, in the past we've had Sensei Dave Hazard, Sensei Wayne Otto. You know, we always have lots of people who we try and learn from. We do performance workshops in-house where we combined, not actually connect at the same time. So we're not doing a form of yoga karate, but we do yoga to supplement karate. So yeah, we run 3 or 4 of them a year. But it's just trying to keep it teaching in the same people you trust, and also in the same road you want to follow, rather than just branching off, trying different people here, different people there, not having a road to follow. You know, that then becomes confusing. That confuses your karate. So a lot of our courses are all, you know, handpicked to develop in the way that we want our own students to develop. Yeah, and all our courses are always open to other styles. We have lots of other styles regularly come down. So we're not worried about the style, your affiliation. It's training. It's training. That's how it should be done correctly. And a lot of people will sort of like preach that it should all be done that way, but they still don't actually do it. But this is genuinely open to anybody.
Yeah. So if you want to come and train with us in December, details of that will be out shortly, and hope to see you there.